Welcome back, everybody, to Goodwill Podcasting with Connor and Stone, your movie podcast that today is talking about Fantastic Four. Three different versions of it. Yes, with the new MCU movie that is now out in theaters, we thought it'd be a great idea for a episode to go back and revisit the other adaptations of these characters. Now, we're not going to talk about the unfortunate circumstances of the 1994 movie, but that does deserve our respect because that was an adaptation that was unjustly canceled. But we won't get into that right now, but do your own research about that. Anyways, but today we will be talking about Fantastic Four from 2005, the sequel with the Silver Surfer in 2007, and then also Fan4stic. So this should be a fun time. Connor, first of all, welcome back to the podcast. You had a leave of absence for a new child, and we are so happy that you're back with us.
I appreciate that, Stone. I've missed you.
Yeah, boys. I missed you too, my man. And then also, we missed our boy Adam. Mr. Sunset Lover Cinema down there. He is back with us as a guest on the podcast this week to talk about these movies. Thank you so much for carving out the time in your schedule for us, for Goodwill Podcasting. You're a great fan of ours. Can't wait to talk about these with you.
I am humbled, and it is my honor to be here, good friend.
And don't you forget, Stone, he is still our top episode from Glicked.
Wow, I'm humbled.
Look at that. There's a reason why. Hey, we need that good juju here with this one as well.
Hey, throwing it out right now. Good vibes all around.
So I got a question for y'all right off the bat. I think you have to ask this with the Fantastic Four before we get into the nitty gritty. What power? What power are you guys choosing out of the four? I gotta know.
If I choose Mr. Incredible, do I get Reed Richards' smarts?
Okay, Mr. Incredible is not part of the Fantastic Four. Sorry. Mr. Fantastic? Connor.
Mr. Fantastic.
Okay, you should have just went with it and be like, oh, LOL, it's kind of like it was inspired by. I'm going with Elastigirl, she kind of fine. That's what I would do if we were doing The Incredibles, but.
You still didn't answer the question.
You want his smarts? Yes, you get it. Adam, what do you think?
I would say, yeah. I see, because I was going to go with The Thing, just because Ben Grimm, just because I feel like you get their personality and you get who they are with these powers. So I would say, yeah, if you're Mr. Fantastic, you're going to get the smarts. I would want to be Ben Grimm, The Thing, because you got like unbelievable strength and power, and you're a witty smartass. People will not mess with you.
I don't agree. I don't think you should get their personalities. That's not part of their I just don't want Connor to be super smart. That's it.
Are you saying I'm not super smart, Stone?
I'm saying yes. It would be no. I'm saying you already are. So it'd be pointless for you to get that.
Good catch. Either way, I'm choosing the Human Torch.
Nice.
Oh, there you go. So essentially, what we're saying, right, is you would have the persona because that is Reed Richards. I guess it's an ability, but no, it's part of who he is. He's the smart guy. So if you would do the same thing for the Human Torch, you would just be like a fuckboy. Well, depending on which version of the character you're talking about. When it comes to Chris Evans, that's essentially what you would be. So is that what you're choosing to be right now? Should I tell your wife? Should I tell your children? I don't think so. So I think I'm proving my point is that you don't want the personality of these characters. I'm helping you out here, Connor.
Hey. Or did I choose him because we said no personality switches over?
Wait, no, because I just came up with that. Nice try. So I guess the first thing I think of is he's just a pilot, right?
Yep,
just a pilot.
Hey, flying planes sounds awesome. Wouldn't have to sit in economy class anymore for the rest of my life. I'll just fly the damn plane. Absolutely,
I've flown a plane. It's a good time.
Oh yeah.
So I'll go with the Invisible Woman. I feel like it's an unpopular pick. Yeah. Invisible force fields. Force fields are kind of gnarly.
Yeah, that's a big benefit. That is actually I almost considered her just because of the force fields benefit.
And I can't remember if they do this. I mean, we're about to talk about the movies, so maybe it is a bad thing that I can't remember. One thing that they did well in the Fantastic Four First Steps is they showed the fact that she can make other things invisible.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if they did a great job of that in these movies. I can't remember. I know Fan4stic did it. I can tell you that right now. But Connor, when are you gonna try to check out the Fantastic Four First Steps? You gonna try to go to the theater?
Hopefully. We shall see. Especially with nothing coming out this next weekend, really big.
Dude, I'm pumped for the Bad Guys too, and the Naked Gun. I think
Me
we're gonna
too.
get two good
Oh,
movies
Naked
this
Gun
weekend.
is this weekend?
Yep.
Okay.
I've heard
I'm-
great reviews. Great
I
reviews.
love those movies. Like I grew up with the Leslie Nielsen movies. They were like comedy gold for me. So, and I mean the advertising for this new one really shows promise in a time where comedy is really tough to do. It seems like we could get something pretty hilarious here. So, I'm going in with like good hopes.
I've heard
Yeah,
nothing
it's
but great things.
I heard it's a bunch of stupid jokes, but that's the thing is like
Oh, yeah.
it's purposely a bunch of really dumb jokes where you roll your eyes, but that's the point of it.
Oh yeah, it's pure deadpan. Like all these movies with like specifically the Leslie Nielsen era. I mean, they were like the most absurd, dumb, ridiculous, just illogical jokes on earth told with a completely straight face, and that's what made them funny.
I'm wondering what the like. I feel like for the last 3, 4, 5 years, Liam Neeson has just done C level movies, not even B level, C level movies, and they
Yeah.
come out and they're just gone. I remember. I don't. They all have like similar names and everything like that. So I'm glad he's
Yeah.
finally again being the leading man of a movie that a lot of people are anticipating on seeing. So
I mean, I agree with you, but like one movie I did like of his in recent memory was A Million Ways to Die in the West.
That was
movie
him doing
cracked.
comedy. So that is like, and that is a good movie, which actually makes me very like positive when it comes to my feelings about the Naked Gun going into it, because the guy has proven he can be funny. I've actually seen him. He was on a talk show where he was like reading lines threatening members of the audience, like to kill them, and like the joke was they would piss their pants just because he's so intimidating. So I am absolutely really like hoping that this lands comedy gold because he is actually a funny guy.
Well, do you know why he got cast in A Million Ways to Die in the West?
No idea.
It was Seth MacFarlane wrote it, and it was from some bit in a Family Guy episode where they were basically saying how funny it would be if Liam Neeson was in a Western with his Irish accent. And then,
it's a good joke.
so then when Seth MacFarlane went to cast him, he's like, yeah, that's fine, but I'm going to use my Irish accent.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's such a Seth MacFarlane thing to think of. It's like MacFarlane's so funny. It's just he's got like a really good comedic like golden mind.
Yeah.
Gifted man. I wish I was like that.
It's
I wish I
also
could be
funny
funny.
that he's on the Logic album.
I did know that he's on the Logic album, right?
Yeah, Logic's one of my favorite artists. And
Nice.
the fact that he came on just to do a Frank Sinatra like singing because he's just really good at that for some reason.
I did not know that. My brother would know that. My brother loves Logic. It's one of his favorite artists as well. He did put out a record in 2020 that I really liked. Like my brother, that's kind of how he got me into him was through that album.
Bobby Tarantino too,
Bingo, I think that was it.
with Rick and Morty.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I want to talk to you guys about my logic when it came to Fantastic Four 2005.
Please.
Great segue. Look at that. Logic, I knew like 1, 2, 3, 4 songs by him maybe. I went to a karaoke bar and this girl kept on singing this, or she kept every time I would go to a karaoke bar, which I do karaoke a lot, which I don't think would surprise our listeners. Or I used to do it a lot. I have like a list on my phone of the songs I would sing. Probably top song was My Way by Frank Sinatra. I think I did a pretty good job of that.
Hell yeah.
But she would sing, she would rap Keanu Reeves by Logic every single fucking week. And I know a lot of the song now because of her. But
Are you
anyways,
the one, bitch? Are you the one?
yes, I am the one, bitch. I am the one. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. But when I was watching Fantastic Four 2005, it made me very nostalgic for origin stories. And I don't know if you guys got that because it's been a little bit. We're in a lot of sequels, and I made a video about the fact that Superman, First Steps, the Batman, probably whatever we're going to get from the X-Men is not going to be origin stories just because it seems like people are kind of tired of them. We're recycling through characters that we've already seen on the big screen before. Obviously, we're talking about two different versions of the Fantastic Four, two different franchise reboots. And when I was watching this, I really liked the framework of the story, which is just all having to do with them getting their abilities and processing the fact that what logically would somebody do if this happened to them? How would they change as a person, and what problems would come their way when dealing with it? And I found that super refreshing. I kind of dug this movie, not like extremely dug it, but I will say I don't think it's bad, and I think it gets a bad rap. I think that this is the best, still in my opinion, the best thing that we've ever gotten because I like what they did with his practical effects on the actor. I like the cast. A lot of people get, especially a lot of young men, feel like focus on Jessica Alba a little bit too much. That is one thing I don't like about this movie is that I feel like she was over sexualized, especially in this movie and also again in the sequel. I'm glad that imagine we just got like a Vanessa Kirby like naked scene in Fantastic Four First Steps. I'm glad how far we've come. This just definitely feels like a product of the times, and that's something that that's a critique that we can have against it. But what did you guys think when you revisit it?
You're 100% right about that. And like, not, like, dude, I saw this movie in theaters and like at the young age I was, Jessica Alba and like when she's invisible with brown underwear, like that is a core memory for me. Like,
yeah, you didn't have to describe. You didn't have to describe it, but I mean,
well, our audience needs to know.
Okay.
But no, I like what you said about the thing. Obviously, I haven't seen the new one, First Steps. However, did you know that Michael Chiklis, who plays the thing in this, is one of Stan Lee's favorite castings in any Marvel project like ever?
I think I did see that. Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome in this.
I was gonna say, well, actually, friend of the podcast, Vets Movies, he did a video on it, and that's where I learned that.
It's just what I absolutely love about this that they missed in First Steps. I don't want to spoil it too much for you, but the thing about First Steps is it does happen 3 or 4 years after the Fantastic Four have already gotten their abilities. It's not an origin story.
I'm okay with
that too, but I really like how hard this movie is on the Thing. How brutal it is, like his relationship with his wife, and she straight up leaves him. And it's not afraid to do that and just be a very depressing movie right away. And it is, I've heard a lot of people say that they like the idea of him eventually one day getting a girlfriend that's not blind. It's a little shallow to be like the only person who could love this guy is someone who can't see him. But our world kind of sucks sometimes. So I think maybe not necessarily her relationship with him is that realistic, but the wife leaving him, brutal. And I can see that happening. Even though this was made in 2005, I could see that happening in 2025.
Yeah, I mean,
if someone got rock powers.
Yeah.
I unfortunately am not a fan of this movie. Never have been. Rewatched. I mean, every time. God, I did a rewatch before Fan4stic. I did a rewatch when I did a whole run through on TikTok of every non-MCU Marvel movie leading up to Morbius. I've tried. It just doesn't do it. I think it's outside of Michael Chiklis. I think it's poorly cast. Even Chris Evans is the Human Torch. I know. I'm sorry. I'm brutally honest. I know. I don't.
Brother.
I don't sugarcoat.
Brother is on fire in this movie. Literally.
Dude, this feels like when we had him on last time and he said he didn't like Gladiator.
I don't know. I mean, it's not the worst thing Marvel has ever done for the big screen. It's definitely nowhere near as bad as Fan4stic, which we'll get into eventually. But I don't know. I just feel like Fox Marvel outside of X-Men could never figure it out until they got to Deadpool.
What don't you like about Chris Evans? Do you think he's just bad in the movie? Do you think he's miscast? Do you have a connection with the character?
I think a lot of it has to do with the writing. I don't think it's his fault. I think he does the best he can. I just think the writing is really poor. I like that it's an origin story. I mean, it's really outside of the 1994 film, which never got a proper release. It was really the first time the public got a glimpse at a Fantastic Four movie. So I appreciate that aspect of it, but I don't know. I think even in particular, and I think Young Graffood as Reed Richards, I just think like I don't know, his performance just lacks personality.
I think that Chris Evans, I agree. I think his performance doesn't lack personality. I know you're saying that about Reed. I think Chris Evans has so much charisma and electricity in this movie. Is so magnetic. Speaking about a touch, I don't like the part. There's like a part where he kind of, I don't know if you call it sexually assaulting a woman, but he just like straight up kisses her and like he's like, this is mine, that is yours. Like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
But I will say one thing is that his character doesn't have necessarily an arc, and which is what you're saying is bad writing, and that does stick out to me. He is the same person at the
Yeah.
beginning of the movie, really as he is in the end. Something that changes with the Rise of the Silver Surfer. They actually do try to change his character a bit, but he's still the fuckboy in the beginning, and he's still
He has
same
the
dude.
confidence and charisma to play Johnny Storm. I will absolutely give him that. And when I say poorly cast, I just think really in at least Chris Evans' case, I just think like he has what it takes to play the character, but he just the writing around him just doesn't allow him to bring it out as best as he could. And I think Fox Marvel had a lot of issues in the aftermath of X-Men. I just think they had a lot of trouble like landing something good. Daredevil is a great example. Elektra, absolutely. And I mean, at least until they got to Deadpool, if it wasn't X-Men, I felt they had a lot of trouble.
Which, I mean, I understand what you're saying about the writing with Chris Evans, but I think he plays the cocky douchebag so well.
Yeah.
In like everything. Like even in the parody movie, Not Another Teen Movie, I like that movie.
Yeah.
It cracks me up. But like all the way up to like Knives Out, I think that's like the perfect role for him.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also do, he's in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. That's exactly what he plays in that movie.
I don't remember that movie all too well. That was a movie
He's
watched
like an
on the
actor, and
Friday
he's just
before.
like a cocky actor, one of the boyfriends, ex-boyfriends.
Which I feel like is a lot of his roles outside of the MCU.
Oh yeah, that's his character type for sure.
And then with the casting too, even my wife pointed it out that it felt weird to cast Jessica Alba instead of just finding a blonde hair, blue-eyed actress.
That was the biggest. And don't get me wrong, Jessica Alba is very pretty. Even when I was in my early 20s watching this, I definitely did the Tex Avery eyes flying out of the sockets when she looked really good on screen. They could have gone a better route with the casting, but she's pretty. She is definitely beautiful, and I will say that worked out.
Was she kind of the biggest name in this movie, like kind of for marketing purposes at that point?
Absolutely. I would say Chris Evans was a close second, but Michael Chiklis had a lot of notoriety for starring on The Shield at the time. And that was like Young Graffood was not even, he's a Welsh actor, didn't really have a presence at all in the United States and never really had a career here stateside. Like never really became a recognizable name.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'll say what do you, go ahead, brother.
With your gripes with like kind of some of the casting and some of the writing, would you be upset if they were brought back for Doomsday?
No. I think there's a nostalgia factor there. I've just clear memories of this coming out in the summer of 2005. I remember like this was a time where if it was a Marvel movie, people would go watch it because this was successful. It merited a sequel. So yeah, if they were to come back and appear in Doomsday, going the whole multiverse thing, I would actually kind of the same way I got really excited with Deadpool and Wolverine with a lot of those cameos. There's still a nostalgia factor there, and that's a powerful thing with me. It always will be.
Stone looks like he's loading up to say something wild.
Do it.
My bro, Adam's gonna love Doomsday. Oh man, I don't know about that movie. I don't know. I get Ian McKellen up there. He's like 99 years old. Be like, Charles. Like, okay, let the man just rest. Like, what are we doing here, Connor? I don't like that you said that because, like, about them possibly appearing in Doomsday because it's something that they definitely could do, maybe might do.
I was gonna say at this point in Marvel, like, it seems like their last, like, hope. I take the nostalgia factor away from it. There's an argument that that's the worst of Tom's Spider-Man movies with Tobey and Andrew. Deadpool and Wolverine, if you take away the nostalgia, you can clearly see it's not a great movie.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what it relies on.
Yeah.
I think people were really, really, really excited to see who would appear, who would come up, and I remember going to see it in theaters, and probably the most excitement that really came out of anyone was either Deadpool doing something crazy, Wolverine looking like old school Wolverine, or there was a cameo.
I don't know if this would have been humanly possible, but imagine if in Doomsday they didn't have like the chair reveal that they did, the whole video, whole spiel of 6 hours of looking at these chairs. Imagine, I don't know if they could maybe not do that. Imagine if they didn't tell everyone who was in this movie and you just found out that there's like 50 actors in this movie from all these different. Imagine if Ian McKellen just like popped up. You're like, what? Like,
I think with where
I don't
Marvel
know.
was before, or like when they did that video, they kind of needed that to get some of the audience back. And they didn't have hits like the Thunderbolts out yet. Obviously, we're hearing great things about Fantastic Four. I think Adam's seen it. I know Stone has seen it and said positive things. So I think maybe that's what they were relying on.
And I do think it's unfortunate that they have to go that route because when No Way Home came out, we all knew what it was going to be. We all knew, but it was about how they did it. And I feel like in the aftermath, a lot of that magic is gone. And probably a big reason I like the Multiverse of Madness so much. Should I go ahead and assume you've both seen it?
Did I just hear you say you liked it so much?
One reason I liked it so much, absolutely, Multiverse of Madness, is because there was a surprise element to the cameos. I went into it feeling, because it was called Multiverse of Madness, is that there would be cameos, but I didn't know who was going to pop up, and I really love that surprise factor. There was a time with the MCU, or in general, where I would go in and I would be excited as to what the post-credit scene was going to reveal. And nowadays, I just feel like they're depending too much on giving away surprises as a way to like use that as a marketing tool. And I miss the days where you went in and didn't know who you were going to see on screen. And that was a big problem with Deadpool and Wolverine. They revealed so much casting around the cameos that I was like, well, I kind of know half the people that are going to show up now. And it's like you're basically going into this to see what they did. With No Way Home, you knew what it was going to be, but it was like, how would they pull it off? How would that all happen? And I avoided trailers because, like, I remember seeing, Doc Ock is in the trailer. You get a glimpse of Electro, and it's just like, okay, they are giving us too much. Like, I want to go into this for surprise factor.
Well, and I think the thing too that made me more upset about Deadpool and Wolverine is like, correct me if I'm wrong, but Deadpool 2 was successful at the box office, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and Deadpool 1 was obviously very successful. Ton
They
of
made
people
like the
loved.
exact same money. They both made like 850 worldwide.
Okay, yeah. So you don't need to like spoil that X23 is in it or Daphne Keene. Like
Yeah.
that one pissed me off.
Exactly.
But apparently it was because she wanted to be at the red carpet, is what I heard.
That's
I'm not saying
That's
there's truth behind
unfortunate.
that.
Like, I mean, if your role is a surprise, like, protect the movie, protect the surprise, skip the red carpet. Be willing to do that. I mean, you are part of a collective that brings this movie to life. Make that sacrifice for one movie.
Speaking of Fox Mutants, Fantastic Four, 2005. We got on a big rabbit trail there, trying to rope us back in here. I was trying to think of a segue, couldn't do it. What do you guys think of Julian McMahon in this as Dune? I thought he was good at Doom. I think he's a good actor. It does the performance really well. I think Doom's poorly written in this. I don't necessarily understand his motivations of. I guess it's just he seems very stupid in my opinion. I don't think they use his brain power, his intellect very well in this first movie. They dive a little bit more into it in the second film with Rise of Silver Surfer, but I think it's kind of silly. One of the main driving forces of his anger and hate towards the Fantastic Four is the fact that Reed took Sue away from him. Like he had a crush on Sue and literally proposed to the girl. And she's like, I got to go this way for a second. And then we find out later when she's talking to Reed, she's like, yeah, we were actually never a thing. That just makes me think that Victor's just a dumbass. Which you could say he was a wealthy guy who was trying to just swoo her with his riches, and he thought that would win her over, even though they literally did not have a relationship at all. I thought that was an interesting development when you find out, no, they didn't have anything, ever. So I'm just like, okay,
I mean,
kind of really dumb dude.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that's we can assume he's a billionaire in this. Like, I guarantee you billionaires think that they could just be with anyone they want.
I think as an actor, and I think his character type, I think that he was a good casting choice. But again, the writing did not do him any favors. I didn't like his motivation. I thought the whole like fictitious love triangle was dumb and childish. But
like, why are you trying to take over the world? Like, he's just like, like, why?
Why? Like,
what purpose do you have? I guess it is the whole. It feels like Norman Osborn in this. Like he's being thrown out of the company because what Reed did to him. Very similar story, but I don't understand why you would just be like, I just want to destroy everything because of that. I don't know necessarily that is his mentality at the end, but that's what it seems like it's becoming. And you don't get the motivation. Like, kill the dudes from your. Like, have a Doc Ock scene in Spider-Man 2 or something. It's like, murder all the people in the building, but I don't understand why you're maybe trying to harm other folks. Yeah. Just because you're evil. But.
Well, like, one of my gripes, too, is, like you were saying, Stone, with the writing with him, is like, and it gets better, actually, surprisingly, in Silver Surfer, but it seems like he just has a weird hatred for Reed. But, like, they're supposed to be competitors because of how smart they both are, but in this one, it just feels like he's just mad at Reed for like bullshit and like just keeps trying to throw random things in his face instead of just trying to like prove he is smarter than Reed.
It's very juvenile, kind of the way they approach that rivalry, which is unfortunate because Julian McMahon. I mean, have you guys ever watched Nip Tuck on FX?
I've not.
That's what he was most known for at the time of being cast in this. Plays a very arrogant, wealthy plastic surgeon, very cocky guy, narcissistic, self-centered. So his casting choice as Doctor Doom was fitting. But just, I mean, they could have written, considering how great of a villain Doctor Doom is, could have written him so much better. Could have actually fleshed out his motivation. Given the audience a reason to connect with him and see why he's such a villain and what is it that drives him to dominate the world outside of, Reed stole my girl, but, she was never actually with me, Yeah,
I guess there is a very big level of campiness to this movie. It knows it's ridiculous. So maybe you can argue the fact that, and I know that Julian actually just passed away not too long ago, so R.I.P. my guy. I looked and I didn't realize I didn't get around to watching The Surfer last year.
I enjoyed it.
This year?
Great.
That was this year?
Yeah. It came out in April.
He's like the second main actor of that. I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
He's the antagonist.
Yeah, but so I guess you could say maybe this type of foolish Doom fits the kind of tone they're going for. But I don't know.
Camp was definitely on their minds when they crafted this. And I love a good dose of camp. But I think like a movie that is going to reflect campiness needs to kind of be self-aware of it. And I don't feel this movie is always willing to be self-aware of its campiness. It wants to also be this profound, serious, gripping superhero movie. And great, there could have been more of a balance in that regard if they wanted to tackle these two things. But, when we get into Rise of the Silver Surfer, I'll get into that because there are things they did a lot better with that one. So
one thing I'll say too is we talked about a little bit of Johnny and how his character doesn't necessarily change that much in this movie. I don't like that really. But what that does help with is his comedy with Ben Grimm. They're constantly
Yeah.
bickering and bantering back and forth, and it's really funny
Yeah.
because maybe it is counterproductive because I think we're supposed to feel bad for the thing and the fact that people are looking at him differently and the fact that his wife left him. But then Johnny's just cracking jokes at the way he looks all the time.
Yeah.
And Chris Evans is good at comedy. Man, Adam, I'm bummed that you didn't like him in this. I think he is just he just randomly goes to a. It feels so 2005 for him to randomly go to a BMX like tour biking exhibition, and he's just like, I'm a hot celebrity, and I'm just gonna ride some dirt bikes real quick and try to launch myself on fire while I'm in it. Fun little scene, fun little sequence. But yeah, it's just I miss stuff like that. It feels so of the times, but I grew up in
I
these times, so
That is very '05 comic book movie. It's kind of even, I think it worked better in Spider-Man with the wrestling and the Macho Man, but yeah, those were things you saw in mid 2000s comic book movies. It was just so common. I think it's silly personally. That's actually one scene that I'm like, oh God, but I'm just one man. It's just me. And I mean, I know that there are folks that grew up with this movie and treasure it. And hey, more power to them. Like I am all about that.
Speaking of the early 2000s, this movie I think has my like favorite marketing I've ever seen in any movie. And it's when Ben and Johnny get in that like first fight and he throws Johnny into a flame grilled Whopper billboard and it lights on fire. Dude, that's so perfect.
it's good stuff.
Oh man, good old mid 2000s product placement. It's
Yeah,
I
but like
remember
that
that.
product placement is just perfect for this movie.
Kind of reminds me of Madam Web when they're like flying into the big Pepsi marquee like light sign, like lit
Yeah.
sign. God, that stuff cracks me up.
Yeah, but then like you have the opposite end of it where like in Barbie, the movie just turns into like a Chevy commercial for like a 5 minute car scene.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's kind of
There's
interesting
actually
that they asked Tim Story to direct these movies. I'm looking at Tim Story's filmography, and I mean he's a Black American filmmaker. And it looks like that he mostly just deals with you know black leads, black stories, stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting that they chose him for these projects. It's cool, but when you look at his filmography, he seems very out of place. But I mean, he's probably a fan of the comics or something like that. But interesting choice for a director, I will say.
Well,
He randomly also did that Tom and Jerry movie that came out during COVID.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
He's got a new movie coming out in August with Eddie Murphy and Pete Davidson. It's called The Pickup.
interesting. Okay, but yeah,
Yeah,
look at that. He did the Ride Along movies, The Blackening, Barbershop. Oh, Barbershop is what
yeah.
he's most known for. But new Shaft movie.
Shaft,
So
yeah.
Not gonna lie, I'm a big fan of the barbershop movies. I love movies like that, like just location based situational comedy movies where characters just stick on each other. I love those movies.
2000s, baby.
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of which, you guys want to get in 2007? Rise
Yeah.
of the Silver Surfer.
Oh, would you rate this?
I rate this as a 3, solid 3.
Okay, I'm also at a 3.
I'm at a 2.
And then my one final thing on this too is since I watched this at such a young age, one of the core memories too was him freezing Reed Richards and saying, that's when rubber can break. And I remember sticking one of my erasers in the freezer for like 3 days and then trying to snap it afterward. It did not work. So
Oh, man.
It is funny that he just has like some contraption right away that he's just gonna freeze him. Like, where'd you get that? I guess we should have seen him built it or something like that. That does show his smarts a little bit. I will say, if anybody is listening to this and they haven't watched Fantastic Four 2005 in a little bit, I want you to do something for me. Go to the scene, not for the reasons we used to do back in the day, but go to the scene where they do have the comedic bit of Jessica Alba stripping down, and it is to get through a crowd. And then if you're watching this from the lens of 2025, you realize that both Johnny and Reed are able to walk around the crowd and meet her on the other side when she gets through the crowd. So what was the point? There's no point. Like, she could have walked around with them. It is only to appease to the young boys, and it worked. So
Yeah.
now there is a big controversy happening right now. A controversy debate happening right now, and I have to ask you, Adam, which
Yeah,
I'm afraid to hear this, but
you're fine. Go for it.
Do you like this movie more than The Rise of Silver Surfer? Do you like Rise of Silver Surfer more than
I like
2005?
Rise of the Silver Surfer a little more, and I will definitely get into why that is.
Okay. Do you like
That's
this Silver
insane.
Surfer or our new one?
Um, that's hard. They're so different. I like the new Silver Surfer, but I really, really like the '07 Silver Surfer. Like one thing I like about him is the guy playing him, Doug Jones,
Yeah.
is really great as him. What I like about this movie is the tone. I like that it's kind of a little more serious. It's a little more dark, and it has one of my favorite scenes between Ben Grimm and Johnny Storm, which is a really great scene. I just I feel like this one they kind of figured out what they wanted to do tonally. It is campy at times, but there are some moments where this film kind of just has what I would really call a more somber tone, and I do kind of dig that about this. I would say actor-wise, I like Doug Jones as the Silver Surfer more than I do Julia Garner, but I do think the Silver Surfer in the new film is pretty good.
I did not know that was Lawrence Fishburne's voice coming
I
out
didn't
of.
even until I looked it up.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I get why they didn't put Lawrence Fishburne in silver paint. That'd have been a little bit awkward seeing Lawrence Fishburne like that, but
Maybe if it was like School Days, Lawrence Fishburne.
maybe something like that. Yeah, but biggest issue for this movie with me, I don't like that Doom's in it. I do not like the Dooms in this movie. It feels like a rehashing of the first film, and I feel like I do not get enough time with the Silver Surfer or the feeling the imminent threat of Galactus, the cloud that is Galactus in this movie.
I'm happy you said that because that's everyone's gripe with Spider-Man 3, and I like that movie, and it doesn't feel like this one. Because same thing, 3 villains in each, basically.
Right.
But like it feels like Doom takes away from Galactus and Silver Surfer, exactly like you said. And I think this is where that gripe should be going, not Spider-Man 3.
Well, what's better, in my opinion, Spider-Man 3 is that you've never seen those villains before. So you're kind of interested in all of them at the same time. Well, you obviously Harry is a reoccurring character, but not this version of Harry.
Yeah.
Amnesia Harry. But Doom, I got Doom in the first movie. Like the thing that's attractive about this film in the first place, it's right on the poster. It's in the title of the movie. It's the Silver Surfer. So stop showing me so much Victor Von Doom. I want to see more of Lawrence Fishburne's voice. Hear more of Lawrence Fishburne's voice. See this guy. I loved it when they captured him and you actually get to see him actually acting like the Doug Jones behind the makeup and the costumes or whatever they put on him. That's so intriguing. And Doom's like how I'm sorry, Adam.
You're fine.
Cinema Sins. I know this might be a Cinema Sins take, but the fact that all of them just trust Victor, they don't trust him, but they're just like, sure, we'll kind of let Victor work with us, I guess. Huh? What are we doing?
It's
and you know what, Victor?
Hollywood logic, and
you know what Victor tells them, right? The reason why I feel like, whoa, bro, he's got some information for us. We've got to let him in. He goes, it's coming from the board. The power's coming from the board. Boom. That is the only bit of information that he shares with them. And after that, they're like, damn, man, well, you get whatever you want then. You want the board? You get the board. What's up? what are we doing?
Yeah, Doctor Doom coming back for this did not need to happen. He was the prominent villain in the first film, and I feel like they had this idea. Julian McMahon was a really hot name because of being in Nip Tuck. I mean, this is a show that went for 7, 8 seasons. It was probably the first show alongside The Shield which is funny because FX is a Fox property. This is a Fox movie. And I mean, the stars of their two biggest shows at the time were in this movie together. So clearly they felt bringing him back and his name would help. And then they thought it was clever to have him more work with the Fantastic Four this time. That's one aspect I didn't like. I like the Silver Surfer stuff. I like how the tone, just feels a little darker. And crazy enough, this is a PG rated movie.
That is kind of crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yet it doesn't feel like a PG rated movie. But there is a scene in this movie that I really love that actually cracks me up. And it's where Ben Grimm goes back to looking like his normal self, but he has Johnny's powers with the fire, and Johnny looks like the Thing, and he's just like it's basically Ben getting his revenge on all the horrible jokes that Johnny has thrown at his expense.
Yeah.
It's a good scene.
Another addition I just don't like is the military. I'm not a huge fan of the military in comic book movies that much because I feel like they have too much power. Automatically, they just change a plot and make it either way too simple or way too convoluted. And it's just like, you guys have no say here. We're taking charge. This is what we're doing. Get with the program. And I'm just like, I don't like this. There's no military in the first movie. I'm like, sounds good to me. I love Andre Braugher, though. R.I.P. Again, another actor gone way too soon. But I love him as an actor, so that made it a little bit more bearable. But
Nope.
yeah,
Happy you brought it up because that's my biggest gripe. If we're gonna look at this outside of a comic book movie in itself,
oh gosh,
they're in a jungle setting. There's no fucking reason the Navy should be in their blueberry uniforms. And also, for a mission like this, it would more than likely be special forces or super secret people, which they do hint at that. They would be in like army ACPs to match the terrain that they're in. That bothered the shit out of me every time they're on screen.
He has spoken, Adam. I don't know what to tell you.
I can add nothing more. That was actually really well expressed.
Like I said, I do like
one
the fact
of the three of us is qualified to really call that out. It is Connor.
Yeah. Can we also talk about that for a second too? Like for the real life thing is like the Navy is in water and they made their camis blue. But if a sailor falls overboard, good luck finding him.
Mm-mm.
Anyway,
I don't know, man. These are the questions.
Yeah.
They should have had you. And it's funny that they don't have like a consultant on set to like talk about that stuff. But like, it really doesn't make sense. I guess it's a comic book movie. They don't think that anybody cares that much.
I was gonna
they would be wrong, obviously.
I'm probably over dramatizing it, but like, dude, there's legit military movies, which Stone, that like I will rip apart because on a military movie, you should have that consultant.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when it focuses that much on it. But I will say I like that they try to give Johnny somewhat of an arc here, and the fact that he's looking at Ben and he's looking at Reed and he's seeing his two friends who are actually in love and they're settled down in a relationship, and he's like, that just looks really nice. So the one thing about the military that does add a plot point to this movie that I like is the fact that he's just sweet on one of the women soldiers or Navy men or whoever they are. So that does add a little bit to him, but I'm trying to think. Ben really doesn't have anything. Reed and Sue, I didn't necessarily understand. They have problems at the beginning of the film where Reed is too busy working on stuff and he's like going behind Sue's back at the wedding and working on something. And it causes the wedding to be absolutely ruined. And there's no falling out from that. Like she's not really upset that happened. She's upset that he didn't tell her. But she also told him not to do it in the first place. So it doesn't make sense that she's not upset.
And they also hint at later in the movie that it was like the fourth or fifth time they tried to get married and something like that happened because of Reed.
Yeah, so there's no... They do wrap it up at the end because they do get married, and she's like, let's make this quick. We got it. Here comes the mole man, or whatever they say at the end of the film. So, but there's no... Right. There's no conversation, though, that happens in the movie. There's no resolution. There's no working out the problems of Reed being too focused on his work and not giving enough time to Sue, in my opinion. So I don't understand. I don't understand how everything is fixed at the very end. Maybe just because Silver Surfer said so and sacrificed himself, R.I.P. But who knows?
And I do wonder if maybe they planned for a third film that would have addressed that, but I think this one certainly did not do as well as its predecessor, and they didn't move forward. So
I'm assuming, yeah. I'm assuming that is the main reason why they did not make one.
yeah, this one did not do well.
If they-
Yeah, that's what it says. Is the negative box office for the Silver Surfer, which is surprising.
If they make the third one, do you think Chris Evans gets Captain America?
Wait, what?
No, I mean, because by the time they would have, if they go with a trajectory of 2 years, it would have been '09, and by then the MCU would have been established. I think they would have already been kind of thinking about the casting. So no, I don't think. I think it definitely would have been questionable if Evans got Captain America as a result.
Yeah, my bad, Connor. I get what you're saying now. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. What you said? What? First Avenger came out in 2011, right?
No,
It came out in 2011, but I think they pretty much. I mean, by the time they pretty much spearheaded the MCU by '08, I think they knew who was going to be playing who by that point. Because I mean, that first phase I think was developed pretty early as a whole, and they pretty much knew where they were going with it.
Interesting. Yeah, good question there. I will say I like we actually get Galactus walking around in the new movie and not Cloud Galactus. That is the funniest thing about this is that he's just here comes the big old cloud. It's a very interesting decision. It was 2007, so you really can't do too much with the CGI. It probably will look really rough.
Is it comic accurate that the Silver Surfer can take out Galactus?
Yeah, I think so. It is the fact that the board is the beacon that calls Galactus to. Well, I don't know, because I wish I knew more about the comics, because that's not necessarily what happens in the new movie. The board isn't necessarily the beacon, so I don't know. I wish I was more.
Someone in the comments will let us know.
Yeah, I wish my knowledge was expanded a little bit more. But I love how they have a mini. I love how they combine at this movie. They have their own little mini. It's not like cameo fest, but they do have some fun with it, and they combine literally the Silver Surfer's powers and Doom's powers, and they put them into one, and then they combine all the Fantastic Four powers and put them into one person. That's a fun idea. I gotta admit.
I thought it was kind of cheesy.
It's cheesy, but how can we spice up the ending to make it different and make it feel like an event, right? What's the craziest thing we could think of? What if we just put all the villains together and we put all the heroes together into one person and have them duke it out? Sure.
I mean, I get the fun concept. I don't know. I mean,
it could have lasted longer. It was not very long.
That's what. Yeah, and I guess if we're saying cheesy, I mean, the first movie ended with Reed turning himself into a water slide after Ben stomped a fire hydrant. So
it's very funny. That was good though. They used their powers really well together at the end of the first movie. I like that. I agree. They didn't use their powers together at the end of this one. They just put it into one person.
I was gonna say, and you keep talking about Johnny's character development in this one, but part of it is still just kind of that idiotic, cocky teenager. When they're trying to save the people on the Ferris wheel. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, in London, he's still just being an idiot and knows he has this issue. If he bumps into them, it steals their powers, and he almost gets a ton of people killed for that.
Yeah, I will say one thing I noticed is they're too hard on him. He didn't ask for this. He didn't ask for this ability to touch people and for this to happen. But it seems he is a little bit reckless at that point. But right after that, Reed's "Don't touch any, bro. Don't touch anyone, bro. You're about to kill someone." I'm like, calm down. It'd be all right.
He almost just killed over 100 people.
He didn't. It all worked out in the end. I think
the reason he almost killed them is because he lost sight of the big picture and tried to go after the surfer and ran into Reed like an idiot.
He's just a challenged young man trying to find his way.
Aren't we all?
How old was Chris Evans in 2007? He was 26.
Oh, damn.
I was pretty childish a year ago.
Hey, I'm 26 now. I feel like I'm vastly mature. I'm just kidding.
You're more mature than Johnny was in this movie?
That probably. But also, I don't have superpowers. $1 million lying around to race cars and be an idiot. So
Isn't there a point where he? Oh, I love the point in this movie where he like has a racing suit on, and they like have sponsors and stuff like that.
Yep.
I like racing a whole lot, so I thought that was cool. Oh boy, do you guys want to talk about something that's not cool?
Sure.
Fan4stic.
Ooh,
What a big pile of shit this was. I rated Rise of the Silver Surfer out of 2.
I got a 2 as well.
I've got it at a 2.
Oh, so you have it rated as the exact same.
Yeah, but there just goes an. I would say, I mean, gets maybe a 2.2 just because I like it a little bit more. But no, it's still a 2.
It's fair.
It's not very good.
I'm gonna get it out of the way. Fan4stic's a half star. Awful movie.
Dude, it's a 1 for me.
My review is I think I rate this higher than the average person, and I have it at a 1 star.
It's awful. I don't see a single, in my opinion, I don't see a single redeeming good quality in this entire movie. I think everything is bad. Connor, go ahead.
I will admit, I like the part in the movie in the beginning when we kind of see Reed upbringing and like his friendship with Ben, like as kids. But along with that, I don't like that this movie just made Ben seem like this like dumb kid who comes from like kind of but like a trash family who just owns like a dump and they can't really do much else and they look like they're struggling a little bit. I don't like that. I like, the '05 version where Ben is still smart, not Reed Richards smart, but like he's still able to kind of hold his own in some of those conversations. But in this one, like he just doesn't understand anything. He can't get into college. I don't like that, but I like seeing Reed and Ben's relationship from childhood.
Yeah, this movie is a mess. I missed it in theaters just because the reviews were so terrible. I could not just give myself the energy to go see it. So that Christmas, I go to Spain to visit the family. Flying back, it's available on the plane. I watch it. It literally put me to sleep. Like it was my fall asleep movie for the flight. Didn't watch it in its entirety probably until about 3, right around when Morbius came out, when I was doing all the non-MCU Marvels. It was the first time I watched it in its entirety. I researched the history. There is a big story as to why this movie is so bad. And it's basically Josh Trank had one idea. I don't really know if his vision was much better than what we got, but the studio really got in the way. There was a lot of drama. He took the drama to Twitter. When this movie got released, he literally posted and said, "The movie you're going to see this weekend is not the movie I intended for you to see." And this is something I noticed even rewatching it this time and miserably rewatching it leading up to First Steps. You never really see them use their powers in this movie until the very end.
Oh my God.
You never do. It's literally a Spielberg-esque teen drama that just by the end happens to be a superhero movie. Apparently, Trank's initial vision was very influenced by David Cronenberg. So I'm curious to see that, but this movie is dull. It's a snooze fest. It is literally like, it is a movie about superheroes, but doesn't actually check any of the boxes when it comes to what superheroes do, at least until the last 15 minutes.
Dude, this movie's 100 minutes long, and I noted this. They did not get their powers till the 56th minute mark.
Yeah. Literally, it stretches out the origin story aspect.
Yeah. And dude, that's my one thing I wrote down as a gripe too, is Reed Richards, smartest man on the planet is the thing they say every time Reed Richards pops up in Multiverse of Madness. He makes a dumb move. And we just talked about his dumb moves in the previous moves. In this one, they get to a different dimension and he just decides to start walking around. You'd think the smartest man in the world, this kind of scientist / maybe astronaut, I guess he's technically not an astronaut yet, would maybe do some research first, maybe analyze things a little bit more before he just starts walking around.
Good point.
Yeah. Not a very well thought out movie in any way whatsoever.
Whole thing. entire thing. Connor, I disagree. Them connecting as kids, you know what that is? It's a waste of screen time. That's exactly the first
And I
hour
don't
of this
disagree with
movie.
you.
Oh, here's the thing, right? I think the Fantastic Four First Steps did a genius job. They said, you already know these characters, so we're not going to show you Ben and Mr. Little Reed becoming friends because you already know that. But you know what? We're going to take 15 minutes in this movie showing you them become friends. I don't need that. They're not interesting. The child actors aren't good. I don't like this. I don't think it looks good. Boring. It's boring, boring, boring. And then they do not get powers for an hour. Why? Why does it take an hour? Why do you think why does Johnny Storm not pop up into this movie for 30 minutes? And then when you show him, it is the best actor out of the entire bunch, by the way, who unfortunately Michael B. Jordan does not get the time of day, does not get the writing that he deserves. And then you're just like, yeah, he's just a reckless guy. He's just racing them cars. And then he's also like super smart. He kind of like he's a builder. He builds stuff. Sure. Oh, we're also going to introduce the fact that he has an adopted sister. Sue and him aren't actually related. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder what was this like. You know, that should be an interesting plot point later on in the movie, right? No. No. Oh, okay. So then, there is one slight redeeming quality of this film. I like the sequence when they are getting examined at the facility. It kind of looks like a horror movie.
Yeah.
When he's all stretched out, it looks painful. It's really two sequences, not really anything with Johnny or Sue, but it's Reed stretched out. That looks kind of gnarly. And then Ben just looks like he's miserable. He's like, help. He's just this giant rock that's trying to emerge from this boulder. He's like, please. And then there's also two time jumps in this film, I think, which is crazy. I think they just go fast forward a year later and reaches out in the middle of nowhere, like undercover, trying not to get taken in by the police. They turn Ben into a military weapon who's just executing people.
Honestly,
What?
it kind of feels real. If we're going to be
What?
honest.
But the thing is, sure, but the movie itself is not cohesive. Doom, here's the what is my biggest issue, I've mentioned, like I've referenced it, is the structuring of this movie. I think it's poorly structured. The fact that you do not introduce Johnny for 30 minutes of the film is a terrible decision. The fact that you take out Doom, the main antagonist of this movie, for 30 minutes, he is not in this movie from an hour to an hour and 30. He is not there. He is just in his wasteland. And then when you go back, he's just like, oh yeah, I'm a god here. You need time with these people to sit with them, to understand their motivations, to understand their gripes and their hatred towards the other characters. But you don't know how to put it all together. You are incompetent. You can't do it. And it might be because of whatever Josh Trank did with Fox and whatever amalgamation of footage that this movie ended up being. It is an awfully structured movie. It's terrible.
I want to go back to something you brought up in your whole long speech, because that was beautiful, Stone, by the way.
I appreciate it. I'm glad I could talk about shit really nice.
No, agreed.
I'm very familiar with it. About twice a day, I see Fan4stic. I do.
Hey.
I look down, I see it twice a day, and I go, goodbye. But unfortunately, I had to look at that for about 2 hours.
That's exactly how I feel about the New York Yankees. Anyway, when you brought up Ben Grimm and like how he's just in like this rock formation, I think that scene's really good, showing the physical pain he's going through. And like you said, Reed Richards being stretched out like that, I do give this movie another nod for that. That's where my star comes from. And I understand what you're saying too, that you don't need the beginning because that's wasted time in the movie that you could spend with developing these characters. I'm totally on board with that. But they didn't do that. They gave us a pile of shit. So I like that in the beginning, and I like the like body horror shit. So all that combined gives you 1 star.
It would be way more interesting to show me Baby Ben and Baby Reed. Show me any interaction between Johnny and Sue. Anything.
Yeah.
Show me a little bit more of them.
The movie is so structured in a way to where the audience forgets they're supposed to be adoptive siblings. And
I
it's almost like
also
they're
very
trying
good
to.
point.
And in reality, I'll be honest. I mean, these studio executives, these suits. I mean, I'm sure that they wanted the audience to forget their adoptive siblings because sadly there's going to be audience members out there that don't like that for specific reasons. And I wonder if the studio was kind of catering to that, like saying like, okay, let's structure this and edit this in a way to where the audience might forget they're actually related through adoption. And
Hmm.
it's just, I think you nail it when you say it's a poorly structured movie. It almost feels like it's a 2-hour movie that they were like, okay, let's just condense it down to an hour and 40 minutes. And they just started playing Tetris with the footage and just didn't know what the hell they were doing.
I don't understand. It's such shallow motivation. Why? Oh, you don't know another thing, which is very silly. Oh, I point this out. I've been pointing this out. I love that the internet, right before Fantastic Four First Steps came out, they joined together like 2 days before Fantastic Four came out or First Steps came out, just to shit on this movie. I saw tons of videos where it's like, yeah, it's actually pretty bad, right? It's a lot worse than you think. And I remember one thing that I commented on everyone's videos that I hated about this film. Doom. Let's talk about Doom and his powers. Okay. Doom, ugly ass motherfucker, comes out and he's just boom, 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 exploding people's heads. What? Why is he exploding people's heads? And then, when you show somebody with that level of power, you have to keep that consistent. And they don't, which is a huge flaw. Because why on earth does Doom not explode all the Fantastic Four's heads? You show that he can do it. Why is he just chucking rocks at them? This is supposed to be a smart dude. Like, what is happening? This is supposed to be a god. Okay, sure. Make me fear him. Okay, this moron. Sorry.
Oh,
Idiotic. It's just terrible writing. It's
yeah.
like Victor is started this program, but then he's kind of like a bad boy and went to like juvie or jail or whatever, and then they're bringing him back for the program. But then he's like upset because Reed made it before he did. I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Why are all Victors just some bitches? You know,
This movie has like a good concept, kind of. You know, like I
of
like
four people getting powers. Like, what's the concept here?
Easy Tiger.
I'm sorry.
I let you finish, you let me finish, all right?
Yes, sir.
No. Really I don't know why, but like in my brain I like it better of the idea of them going to like a different dimension to get their powers versus like they were just going to space. So like that's what I mean by a good concept. Um yeah. That's but like the thing that I kept thinking about with that though, and they kept going to different dimensions. Why were Sue and her dad at the high school science fair to see Reed's invention? That's just never talked about. Like it's just this random adult who doesn't have a kid out of school showing up with his high school age, college age daughter to watch a science fair. That's strange.
I'll
But
defend that. I guess it's just like Victor was young and smart and was able to do almost this program. Right? He started it up, was never able to finish it. So maybe they're just desperate and they're just randomly creeping around. Oh, one thing that's weird is Miles Teller is definitely in high school and Sue is not.
Mm.
And luckily, they don't try to necessarily start up a relationship with him, but I'm thinking that this entire time. Um, I'm glad that you brought up the dimension. Thank you, Goddard. Keep on bringing up stuff about this movie. It's just so much fun. Why are they going to this dimension? What is the reason? You remember?
to explore.
Why? Because the Earth's bad. The Earth is dying.
Well, was it that or they also I think mentioned that like, you know, it could be new medicines, new technological advances.
I think it changes throughout the movie. I think they can't make up their damn minds. And it's funny because I think at first it is the planet is dying and whatever in this area could help us out. Show me one thing about the Earth that is bad. I guess whatever you know what's bad is the thing going out there killing people. That's what's bad about it.
Show you one thing about Earth that's bad.
You know, I believe they say the Earth is dying. Like we need to find something to help out our dying planet. Show me one, like how? Show me the outside world more than this laboratory that I'm seeing for 45% of 50% of this movie. Oh my gosh, we're trapped in this area for so long. Oh, such a bad movie. There's no action. There's no action. That's just occurring to me. There's the end. There's the end. There's no action. I'm so sorry, Connor. I made Connor leave. I'm just ranting so much. There's like an interaction.
And that
There's
was
an interaction between the Thing and when the Thing is his military persona.
Yeah.
Reed does come out and he's like, "Yo, bro," and he's like, "Get away from me!" And then there's like some exchange there. But there's nothing besides what happens at the end. I guess you can say an action scene is when they get their powers and they're running away from the green goo of this dimension that's getting all over them. Sure.
It is a stretched out origin story. It is almost like they felt like, you know what? This is something audiences have never seen before. What if just, 75% of this film is literally just focusing on the origins of these characters? The problem is they did it in a way that wasn't interesting. It wasn't engaging. It didn't allow you to connect with the movie. And like I said, the first time I watched this was on an airplane and it put me to sleep. I actually slept for a good amount of time on that flight because I watched this movie.
It's just so bad.
It's
just
terrible.
Like I said, there's just like maybe one sequence. I like the horror element, but it's Connor was talking about the fact that you can see his physical pain, the Thing, but he's not a character. There's no. Yeah. They do try to do. It's so crazy, man. Like I'm talking about poorly structured, right? What is a smart thing? You introduce Ben. They just sit with me on this, Adam. Yeah. You introduce Ben at the beginning of the movie, him and Reed, but you do not introduce a conflict between them, a problem between them, until about 65 minutes into the movie, which is Reed leaving because he's in this facility with Ben, and Reed escapes and he runs into the woods, and Ben is upset because he's like, "You left me. How dare you leave me?" That is 65-ish minutes into the film. And it is quickly resolved because it fast forwards a year. And then he's just like a military operative. And then he's like, "Yo, bro, I'm sorry."
It's
that's something you do at the beginning.
Poorly developed. It never develops any situation where that conflict might become a reality or as to why he would be upset about that. And then literally doesn't even resolve it. Just fast forwards a year. It's like, hey, it's literally like they played Tetris in the editing room and they just did not know what piece went where and they just didn't care. Like, I really feel they were like, all right, we're just going to let this one fail. In 10 years, they'll reboot it. We'll be fine.
And with all of my heart, I don't think that there is a single character trait. Oh, one thing I do like is that Sue listens to music. That is one thing I liked about this movie. I can't remember why I like that. I think they might have done maybe some interesting editing with the one point where she's listening to a song. That is something, though, that she has to put in headphones when she's focusing. I do like that. Sure. But when it comes to their character arc, I forgot that their dad dies in this. Doom just like goes poof, and he's just like, sure. I guess that is their fighting for their father.
By the time that happens, it just has like the movie is so lackluster that when
it's like almost over.
Tragic like that happens, it's like, okay, I'm not affected because I have not emotionally connected with this movie at all for the whole time it's been on. Why the hell is this going to make me connect with this movie at this point? It just.
I guess totally this is what they thought they had to do because the Batman Begins and really The Dark Knight changed how people framed their movies and presented them tonally. I think the mid-2000s when it came to the X-Men, like Daredevil, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Elektra, they're all fun, campy movies that didn't take themselves too seriously. Christopher Nolan changed the game.
He did.
He changed the game, obviously with Batman Begins in 2005, but the Dark Knight is what got the majority of the popularity. I mean, Batman Begins, I believe it only made like $300 million worldwide. Dark Knight made like $1 billion. That movie changed everything, that movie is why we have Man of Steel. And I've talked about this many times in the podcast, but it's this dark, gritty takes on films and adaptations that it introduced, and that carried out throughout the entire 2010s.
Yeah.
And I think that's where they thought they had to go in the direction with the Fantastic Four.
There was even like an article I read during the production of this movie that reports were saying they were going for like a Dark Knight thing with it. They wanted it to be a darker Fantastic Four, a more, modern macabre look into these characters.
I just don't think you can do that with these characters. That's the problem. You've got to realize like that works with the Batman. Like I think the Batman Matt Reeves film is very unique and very hard to do, where it does feel dark and gritty and kind of Nolan-esque, but it's not afraid to be a comic book movie and be silly at times, but also not sway away from the tone that it's trying to set. It feels like a comic book world, but it's still taking itself seriously.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like a comic book world.
No.
At all. It's trying to. The thing is also is there's no. When it comes to the Dark Knight, a lot of people think that it's a very good, like crime drama. Like it's a very good crime thriller movie. And it's got. I've seen a lot of people say that. Like if you look at it like that, if you don't look at like the Joker, just look at it as like a terrorist, right? That's all the Joker is. And Batman is just I don't know, Bruce Willis and Die Hard. That's still a really good movie.
Oh, absolutely. And what makes Nolan's trilogy, not to veer kind of toward him a little too much, but what makes Nolan's trilogy so good is that you can see the distinct influences in each movie, how Nolan takes them, but gives them their own identity. Because you can clearly see how much The Dark Knight is influenced by Heat and Stanley Kubrick's The Killing. But you never see those two movies. You still know you're watching Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because you can see the inspirations. And as much as he wanted to, Josh Trank can say, yeah, we were trying to go for the Dark Knight thing. The only element of the Dark Knight that I see in this, even if it was inspired by it, is trying to tell a darker story. There's nothing, no framework about this. It feels inspired by anything. And yeah, so it is tough to judge it though, because I wish we got a finished product from either Josh Trank or Fox Studios or whoever was in charge of this thing, and we could judge it based solely on that. But this might be, I don't know, the Suicide Squad situation. This might be Justice League, where the film that we got in the end was not what it was supposed to be. So that's why it's an awful film rather than whoever was behind the camera trying to put this together. I don't know.
Exactly. I think Josh Trank had a vision. I can see where he was influenced by Cronenberg. There are moments here that kind of remind me of The Fly. But clearly his vision got interrupted. And in the end, they just didn't know what to do with it. They tried to just piece together something, and they just pretty much said, we're going to let this one fail. We're just going to take the loss here. And that's exactly what they did.
That's crazy. I think I saw a report that maybe the opening day of Fantastic Four First Steps made more money than this entire movie made. It was just abandoned, which is crazy too, because it was 2015, I believe, when this came out. So like the dead in the center of superhero movie craze, and we just got a real big stinker.
Oh, absolutely.
That's hard to do. That's impressive.
It was
so congrats everyone.
I mean, it was a big, not really a nail in the coffin for Fox Marvel because they still had the X-Men movies, but I will notice that
New Mutants, like Dark Phoenix, like it was going downhill.
Yeah, they were going way down because even X-Men Apocalypse was not very well received.
Yeah, I think Days of Future Past, if I'm not mistaken, Days of Future Past came out in 2014.
It did.
So it really was this movie that just, I mean, if you eliminate, the Wolverine was in 2013. I'm trying to get my times here. So I guess you say Deadpool wasn't bad, but besides Deadpool, everything else is just so downhill.
Yeah, absolutely. Outside of Deadpool and Logan, they were really just, things were not looking good. And they were depending on A, X-Men properties that they could do something good with, and B, Deadpool was just a big draw because people wanted a proper adaptation. And I mean, Deadpool technically fits into the world of X-Men, so Fox Marvel was having a tough time, that's for certain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at X-Men Days of Future Past right now. That movie should not work as well as it does.
Yeah.
And I really hope that's what Doomsday ends up being.
I,
Because on the surface, like if you tell somebody what this movie is, like in 2025, I think anybody would be like, that sounds like a terrible idea, combining everyone together. It works. So,
Mm.
well, we're gonna see every single one of these people in Doomsday anyway, so we're gonna find out.
absolutely.
Oh gosh, but looks like Connor had to step away for a little bit.
Okay.
Adam, before we end the episode, is there any recent movie that you've watched, or whether it's a new release, something old, something you want to get around to that you would recommend to people?
Oh, sure. So recent watch that I would actually recommend, and I mean, just kind of as we started the episode, anyone that is interested in watching The Naked Gun this weekend that hasn't seen the 3 Leslie Nielsen movies or even the show it's based on, Police Squad, watch them. They will really set the tone for what you're going to get into humor-wise. They're great movies. They're very funny. Leslie Nielsen was the king of deadpan for a reason, and it might get you to explore more Leslie Nielsen in the process. Something else I watched recently is, so when I was in Spain, I took my little cousins to the movies. We went to see a musical comedy that I would best describe as Superbad, but like more PG-13. The title in English is I'm Going to Have a Good Time. It's streaming on Amazon Prime. And I'm not crazy about musicals, but I thought this was good. It's just like a teen comedy musical in Spanish. You can get subtitles on Amazon Prime with it. It's a great movie. Its sequel just came out in Spain. I went to see it over there. Something I really enjoyed. If you like Superbad but kind of want a version of it that maybe you can watch with your kids who are like 8, 9, 10 years old, definitely something to press play on and check out if you're okay with subtitles.
And that's on Prime.
It is, yes.
Okay, I'm trying to find it right now, but I typed on Letterboxd and I typed, hope I'm having a good time.
It's I'm Going to Have a Good Time is the English title. I can say the Spanish title, which might be easier to find. I'll spell it out for you if you want.
Sure, go ahead.
It's Voy, Voy.
Okay.
And then just letter A.
Okay.
And then Pasármelo, Pasarmelo, and Bien, Bien.
I found it.
Yeah.
All right, Pasármelo. Okay, all right, I got it. Connor, we just because you stepped away, we're doing a quick lesson on Spanish. We really didn't know how to, prolong the time at all. So we're just like, what can we think of? Maybe Adam can teach me some Spanish real quick. So I'm gonna teach you what I've learned, Connor. I'm just kidding.
So do we do recommendations yet?
You good? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you're frozen there for a second.
Did we do recommendations yet?
That's what we're doing right now.
Okay.
I can give mine real quick. I actually went to my first screen unseen yesterday,
Oh, nice.
which was interesting and disappointing, but surprising. Interesting, disappointing, and surprising. Stone, that's a lot of words. How was it? Well, I thought it was going to be The Bad Guys 2. And I watched The Bad Guys, the first one, like a couple days ago. And I gotta admit, I kind of liked it a lot. It's a solid film. It is not bad. I really enjoyed it. I rated it as a 3.5. So I was excited for the sequel to come out. And I saw it. It was PG, the screen unseen, because you're able to see little tidbits, how long it is. It's PG. And in my mind, I was like, PG. There's only one PG movie coming out, baby. Bad Guys. Purchased, right? Got my ticket. I go in. I see one trailer. Right at the beginning, it says Angel Studios. Like, oh, okay. All right. Second movie, Angel Studios. And I'm like, oh, oof, okay, interesting. And then random like $4 animated movie trailer. Didn't look very good, but random movie. I'm like, okay, maybe this is Bad Guys 2. You had a trailer for an animated movie. Cool. Third movie comes, Angel Studios. And I'm like, okay. I texted Dan. I was like, Dan, I think I'm watching an Angel Studios movie, which I've never watched before. Usually, when it comes to that studio, they have an agenda when it comes to their films, a certain message that they're trying to kind of preach to you. That's what I've heard. Never watched one myself. So it started playing, and was I surprised? So this was a movie called Sketch. And I found out that it premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival. So I think what happened is that Angel Studios, which I don't think they do that if they produce the movie, but I'm assuming they acquired this film and they are distributing it. They're in charge of distribution. That's a better way to say it. It was very good. It starred Tony Hale, and it was like a fun, kind of serious at time adventure movie. And basically what happens, simple premise, it's his family, dad and his kids, and their mother passes away. So what happens is the daughter is very much into drawing, but when the mom passes away, she starts drawing not so tasteful things like monsters or even people dying from monsters, stuff like that. So they say, you know what? It's a good idea for you to get this all out. Let me give you this special notebook, and you can just go in your room and you can just doodle away, right? Sure. Well, then how is this an interesting movie? Well, her brother walks across this pond and falls down this hill into this pond. Scrapes up his bloody hands. He's like, oh, man. And then he's looking for his phone. I'm not spoiling anything. He looks for his phone. This is like the first 15 minutes of the movie. Looking for his phone. He reaches into the pond with his bloody hands, grabs his phone. It's broken. He's like, oh, man. Starts walking, looks down at his hands again. His hands aren't bloody anymore. Then he looks at his phone. His phone isn't broken anymore. He's like, what's going on with this pond? So essentially what happens is two things happen. One that I thought was really interesting. The son gets the idea to sneak around his dad and take his mother's ashes and hoping to dump them into the pond to bring his mother back. Because it seems like this pond has some magical qualities. But what happens instead at this point in the movie is the drawings of the sister accidentally get dumped into the pond. And then all these monsters come alive that she has drawn before, and they terrorize the town.
Had no idea that's what this movie was about. I've seen the title, seen the poster. I had a feeling I had to record an episode last night with Midnight Film Review. So I didn't go. I had a feeling that would be it.
It's not bad. I will say visually, the visual effects, it is very much not a blockbuster movie, but visual effects honestly don't look bad. The only bad thing is I just think the cinematography just doesn't look good.
Okay.
It's a poorly shot film. Okay. I love Tony Hale as an actor. I think he did a great job. Two of the kids, there's just like pretty popular underground horror movie that just came out called Marshmallow.
Yes.
And I think the lead kid in that movie is the lead kid in this movie.
Okay,
so
nice.
the child is the son and the daughter are very good actors. Like I said, I just don't think it's shot well, but it gets pretty emotional at the very end.
Okay.
And I wasn't expecting that. I think it was really solid.
Okay.
Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised.
Sounds like I may end up watching my first Angel Studios movie, something I never thought I'd say, but I mean, your recommendation is
like I said,
very enticing. And I mean, I'd read that they acquired the movie, that it wasn't exactly something they produced.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have an agenda, but they also do just like to distribute wholesome stuff. And I've heard it's a very wholesome Spielberg-like monster movie for kids. So I'll give it a shot. I mean, I like Tony Hale. I want to support what he does. So, I would definitely be willing to go see it.
It was crazy is that one of those Angel Studios movies that they showed a preview for beforehand stars Sam Worthington, and it comes out in December, which is the exact same time Avatar comes out that stars Sam Worthington.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting. That very two different movies there that he's going to be a part of.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I hope you like it.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely let you know what I thought. And there's Screen Unseens, like I think every Monday for the next 4 weeks. So they're doing a whole streak. So I'll have to I'm going to jump into a few of them. Well, you're on the East Coast, so because I'm Central Time, I find out on Reddit what it's going to be.
Dan
So,
told me, he's like, bro, you could have just like found out on Reddit. And I was like, well, this is my first time. I didn't know.
yeah,
So I
and East Coasters take the risk for us. We actually there's like a whole appreciation thread for East Coasters on the AMC Reddit. So
well, I'm on East Coast now. I mean, I don't know how Dan knows then. Maybe it comes out a little bit earlier. I don't know.
okay.
People in Europe or something. Please help me out, somebody. I don't know.
Maybe could be because I know they do things like that in Europe. I know that there's one guy like he's in contact with a dude in London, and he's like, my guy in London said it's this, so and he's never been wrong. So I think I do think markets like London also do it, and of course they're going to know 6-7 hours before us.
Yeah, so I was almost gonna walk out, but I was like, you know what? I almost watched Oh Hi, and Dan said that movie wasn't very good. He didn't like it per se.
Yeah, I tried to do. I went to see Sorry Baby earlier today, which I hate to say I don't think I'm as crazy about it as others are. I think it's a great story. I think it does really well at expressing and dealing with the very heavy incident that is the center of the movie. I think it does a great job at that. I just and funny enough, I thought the movie got better as it went along, but it almost lost me like in the first 20-30 minutes.
Mm.
But
I loved
as it
I love the
moved along,
surprise John Carroll Lynch appearance. That was great.
yeah,
I love John
he was
Carroll Lynch. I was like,
fantastic.
dude, let's go.
Oh, he was fantastic. I've
Love
been
him.
wanting to see Oh Hi, but I've heard very 50-50 things about it. I've actually avoided I Know What You Did Last Summer because I've heard it's terrible.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Just I'm looking forward to Weapons though. That looks great.
Damn, Dan ranted. Oh, dude, I'm so excited for Weapons. Dan rated Oh Hi as a 1 star. Yikes.
Oh man.
He did not like that.
And Dan's opinion goes a long way with me. Dan's taste goes a long way with me. You know, he definitely expresses opinions that I gravitate to.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't even know you watched that movie. Probably didn't feel like reviewing it.
I'd be surprised.
But
Yeah,
hey, thanks for coming on, man. Again,
dude, it
Connor's
was my
back.
pleasure. Hey, what's up, Connor?
The
No, it was my pleasure to be here, man. Talking about, 3 Fantastic Four movies I'm not crazy about, but the earlier two, the '05, '07, do have certain qualities.
They have
Definitely
charm.
better than Fan4stic, so I'll definitely say that.
very true.
I don't
Connor,
know about
yeah, I hope you get to see First Step soon. It's a fun movie. It's definitely the best thing Fantastic Four has given us. Right next to the 1994 animated series that I love.
I want
And
to
I
check that
know
out.
we didn't talk about the '94 live action movie. It's terrible, but that's what makes it amusing, is the best way I'd describe it.
Okay.
Anyways, Sunset Loner, please tell us where we could find you. You're an amazing guy, amazing creator, such a well-spoken guy, very knowledgeable. Shout
Beautiful
out
human.
that new pod too, if you want.
Oh, thank you so much. You guys are really sweet. I'm humbled. Thank you so much. My content, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and now I've got a Facebook page. It's Sunset Loner Cinema. I have a podcast with Midnight Film Review called Late Fee Files, where every 2 weeks we choose a double feature on relatively forgotten films that we rented from the video store at one point. We have an episode coming up where we cover the 1997 Eddie Murphy action comedy Metro and the 1998 Samuel L. Jackson action thriller The Negotiator. And in a couple of weeks, we'll have our third episode up where we do a Christian Slater double feature, 1992's gritty cop comedy Cuffs, and the most excellent 1989 skater culture neo-noir film Gleaming the Cube. That's what we do. Brian and I very much grew up in the same generation of going to the video store every weekend and just taking risks on anything and everything we could rent. And we decided to make a podcast out of it. It's called Late Fee Files. You can listen on Spotify and Apple. To anyone that's actually like tuned in and reviewed and given feedback, we love you. We appreciate you. it's helped us grow a lot. So thank you.
Hell yeah, man.
Awesome.
Thank you as well for plugging it. I'm looking up the Gleaming the Cube right now.
Oh, it's great.
Gotta check this out. And Christian Slater, he's been in so many movies.
Oh, absolutely. No, but I do appreciate you guys having me on again. It's always a pleasure to chat with y'all. And, you know, I was last time I was on Midnight Film Review, this podcast came up, and, you know, I wholeheartedly, no cap, straight up from the heart said, you're a great bunch of guys, you know, and recommended everyone just go listen to y'all. It's like talking movies with a couple of good friends. It's just, you know, it's a good vibe.
I appreciate that. It's gonna be better. It's gonna be better vibes next week. I'll tell you what, because we're talking about a lot better movies than we talked about right now. Because we're talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy,
Most
which should be a fun time. I'm excited for that. Yes, Connor, are we gonna talk about the fact that you don't like them? Oh my gosh, we'll get into that next week. Oh boy, can't wait, guys.
Listening because I love those movies. I will definitely be listening as I do every episode.
Jeez,
you guys are my soundtrack. Like, I don't listen to music at the gym anymore. I listen to podcasts, and I just have like my whole list. And sometimes I'll be at the gym and I'll be listening, and Dan will, or like anyone will say something that cracks me up, or Dan will just like boldly just talk shit, and I'm like laughing on the elliptical, and people are looking at me, and I have to just take my AirPod out and go, Goodwill Podcasting, and like put it back in.
Yeah, I mean, like, I hope that's somebody this week.
Like I'm crazy for laughing while listening to your podcast sometimes. Just
I mean,
don't worry, I'm currently working on a video for our TikTok page where it's just a montage called Out of Pocket Stone.
I love it.
Sounds about right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyways, if you want to see some more Out of Pocket Stone, tune in next week. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode. Thank you again to Adam, Sunset Loner, Cinema, for being here with us. Until next week, until Guardians of the Galaxy, and whatever Connor's going to say about it, goodness gracious. Go outside, sit on a park bench, touch some grass, call up your friends, watch some good movies, and we'll see you then. Peace out, everybody.